Okay, welcome everybody. We got Big 12 football this week. You know, the sun came up Sunday, and we went back to work. Plenty of things to work on, as we all are smart enough to understand. You know, and just did that. Went back to work on Sunday and went out and had a good practice. Was bounced back. Kids are resilient, way more resilient than coaches. I can assure you of that. We were pretty hard on ourselves, and that was, you know, just the general message, as I told y'all afterwards. Plenty of blame to go around, all three sides of the ball. The best way to fix it is to look in the mirror and figure out what you can fix, and that's exactly what I've done. There's plenty of things that I can do better. Going to plan on doing that this week, getting ready for a good Oklahoma State team. So know a lot about them. You know, obviously was there a couple of years ago, played them last year. Our guys are very familiar with them. It's one of the teams that they probably understand better than the rest of them. You know, they're very similar to us on offense. Have an athletic quarterback who does make them go. J.W. Walsh has won a lot of football games. He's a coach's kid. He's savvy. He throws the ball well. He runs well. He makes it work. You know, and they've always been good up front. Joe Wickline's great on the offensive line. He coaches those guys up, has for going on 9 years straight there. So they're going to be well coached up front. They're always going to try to run the ball. They have for years. So they're very well rounded. They're going to play with a tremendous amount of tempo. They try to snap it about every 20 seconds or something like that. So that'll be different than what we've seen. Defensively, they play with a lot of effort. Been running the same system around there for quite a while. Glenn Spencer is a great football coach. Has took over for Bill Young last year. Does a great job. Gets them to play with a bunch of effort. The scheme's not that tough. You know, they're going to play 4 down. They're going to play, you know, a couple of coverages. They are mixing in a lot more man. They're not going to blitz a bunch, but they coach really hard on effort. They coach really hard on technique. And then special teams, we got to be leery of their return guys. Both Stewart and Justin Gilbert are guys that have scored quite a bit in the return game. So it'll be a challenge all the way around. Top 10 team, another undefeated group coming in here. You know, we're sitting here at 2-2 with our 2 losses, being on the road, 2 undefeated teams that I think are pretty good football teams. This week's no different. It's the same thing. It's why we're excited about the Big 12, is to be in situations like this, to play teams that have national recognition and national rankings, and we got to step up. Each and every one of us has got to step up. I got to step up, and we got to get we got to get a little bit better this week. And if we all do that, then we'll have a chance to win. So with that, I'll take some questions.
One of their writers asked me to ask you about J.W. Walsh. You pushed to recruit him when you were there, and he was known more as a running quarterback. And they wanted to know what it was in him that made you want him to run your offense. Yeah,
a winner. I mean, he falls in the long line of Texas high school coaches' kids. You know, his dad's the head coach at Denton Guyer, won a lot of football games. Won before J.W. was their quarterback, and has won since J.W. left. So, you know, Texas high school football, pretty good. You know, being the coach's kid, watching them win games, watching them, you know, the intangibles, every intangible you want a quarterback to have, he has. You know, and just watching him winning games and getting guys to rally. Yeah, you could see it on the sidelines. You could see it in practice. You could see it in games, and it resulted in a whole bunch of wins. So I think you can take those guys and you can make their skills better. You can make their skill set better. And obviously they have.
Have you changed your approach to practice this week at all? Pushed them more, pushed them less? I mean, I know you talked about guys putting a lot of pressure on themselves. Mm-hmm. Has it been the same as ever for you?
Yeah, it's worked for 15 years. We're not going to change it. You know, we're gonna change something. I mean, we're gonna change. You know, and I changed how I woke up and got dressed this morning for what that is worth. You know, I'm going to change what I have for lunch. All right, we got rid of our our lunch bar today, so we changed that. We're going to change some different things. The one thing we're not going to change is how we practice. How we practice works. It's worked for 15 years. I feel like we're on track, and we're going to continue to get better. It doesn't look good. Sick to my stomach with what happened offensively, but we'll get out there and we'll get a little bit better this week.
How do you get guys to put less pressure on themselves then?
Tell them to relax, and it's a good point because what I saw was when a couple of things happened earlier in that football game, everybody just kind of got all wide-eyed and said, "Oh crap," and that can't happen. We can't play like that. We can't be and it's 100% coaching is what it is. I mean, I can't allow that to happen. I can't have guys that are scared to make a mistake, and that's not existing on defense, but offensively I think that's happening a little bit, yes.
Coach, why have your best quarterback, your most experienced, not best, your most experienced quarterback has only 6 snaps in game this year? We're 1/3 through the season. That's just a question.
Because I evaluate him every day in practice.
I'm sorry?
I evaluate him every day in practice. You don't.
Why did you accept him? Did you not accept him to play?
Yeah, I mean, why do I have 120 guys on the team? Because we made the decision to have them on the team. You never know what the finished product is going to be like. I got complete confidence in our guys offensively, to coach them up and get them better. Make decisions, we put guys out there.
Dan, let me ask you this. Is there something happening in college football? And just looking at the numbers, your offense has gone down, and everybody's panicking and the likes. You're like 72nd, I think, in total offense in the nation. But Alabama's 84th, and teams like Tennessee's 103rd, and Michigan State 104th, and USC 106th, and Hawaii, which always has an offense, is 117. Has something happened? I mean, that things have changed, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had an answer for you, Bob. I mean, I think there's a lot of people doing a lot of the same stuff. I mean, it's become so up tempo. I mean, 2 weeks ago looked at Oklahoma. I thought I was looking in the mirror at a lot of the stuff that they're doing. This week looking at Oklahoma State, it feels like we're looking in a mirror about doing some of the same stuff. There's a lot of teams that are doing the same type of things. When I studied Maryland's offense, I'm sitting there watching it from play 1 all the way to the end of the game. It'd be our offense and then a special teams play and then their offense, and looking at their offense, it looked a lot like our offense. It's a lot of the same stuff. You got some different stuff with some quarterback run game, but a lot of guys are doing the same stuff. It sounds to me like a lot of guys out there are coaching it a little bit better than I am. So I don't know. Is it happening? I don't know. I think a lot of defenses are used to defending the same offense. And then you got to throw in maybe some parity in college football as well. There's a lot of good football teams out there. A lot of the teams you just said have good coaches. A lot of parity and a lot of people doing the same stuff.
I don't know if you're kidding about getting dressed different or eating lunch different, but you did say there are things you are going to change. But I wonder, there are things you won't change. I get that, but what can you, or would you even look at?
I need to change my mentality if I want them to change their mentality. So I'm going to expect good things to happen. I'm going to get excited about going to practice, and I'm going to get excited about going out there and not worrying about calling the perfect play. If you sit there and you worry about calling the perfect play, then you're going to call a bad one. So that mentality needs to go away. And we need to relax, and we need to get out there, and we need to expect good things to happen. And right now, offensively, I don't see that happening. And that needs to exist with me. It needs to exist with me.
Fundamentally, mechanically, you can do all sorts of stuff to change performance, blocking, receiving. But the thing you mentioned a lot about, like spirit on the sideline, motivation, is that there's not like a drill or period of practice for that? Is it like, how does that actually improve? Or do you have to see it on tape and point it out and say?
Practice it a little bit. I kind of turn and I look at guys and make sure that they're tuned in and they're bright-eyed and they're paying attention and they're, saying nice job and, go get them. Raw team, that sort of thing, So, we can practice that a little bit. It needs to exist. I mean, we were not the most excited team to play on Saturday. Were we prepared? Not as well as Maryland. Okay, all that stuff falls on me. I got to get us better prepared. I got to get us more excited about playing. We went over to Maryland and we faced a team that was excited about playing, and they played that way. They played more excited. They played with more passion. They strained their bodies more than our guys did. And when the whole team's like that, guess what? That's on me.
You stood up like a man and taking it on your shoulders and taking responsibility. But somewhere players have to make plays. How do you get that? How do you draw that out of them? Even if it's the wrong call. I mean, somewhere
if I was sitting here saying that our guys, they've done everything I've asked them to do for 8 months. This goes back to January. I mean, after the sick feeling in my stomach about Syracuse, we came here and we met and we went to work. And they've done everything that I've asked them to do for 8 months. They had an opportunity in this game the other day to quit. I mean, you're down 30-0 at halftime for whatever the reasons were. I mean, they made a couple of plays on defense. We didn't make a couple of plays. I mean, if you look back at it, I mean, the ball hits Ronnie, and 3 of their guys were right there and jumped on top of it. Well, it was, probably 5-6 plays later, we punted, and it hit their guy, and we were about 2 steps away from jumping on it, right? Well, they caught a break. We didn't catch a break. You got to make your own breaks. They intercept the ball, which was a heck of a play by that kid. I mean, that kid, outside linebacker, snatched it out of the air and ran 30 yards for a touchdown. Jared Barber missed one by about 1 inch. That could have been a return for a touchdown. Well, why is that happening to them and not happening to us? Because we didn't catch any breaks. Okay, well, that's fine. Make your own breaks. But the point is we're down 30 points. Kids could have quit, and they didn't. So if I'm sitting here in front of you saying, they quit, we're not getting the effort that we want, we got attitude problems, none of that's existing. None of it's existing. So I'm comfortable sitting here saying whatever we're missing, I think we're about that close from being a damn good football team. But right now we're missing it, and I got to find it.
Other things you'd like to change, I imagine one of them is the 8 fumbles. I think it's second to worst in the nation. What can you do to solve that problem?
Well, we can field a punt. That would start, okay? If we field a punt, it would start. Because that's been an issue. If you look at our running backs, Charles has 1, Wendell has 1, I think Dreamus has 1, but then there's a couple of punts, so it's not like we got one guy that we're giving the ball to a bunch and he's got a fumbling problem. So it can be fixed pretty easy, and I think it will this week.
And off the 8 defensive takeaways this season, you just come up with 7 points on the offense.
Yeah, it's bad.
Is there something with the quick change offense that you see that you can fix, or?
Yeah, we'll work it today. I mean, I'll blow a whistle and say we just got a turnover, run out there and go score. I mean, we're having a hard time scoring, period. So it's not like when we get a turnover, it's like all of a sudden, we got a killer instinct to go out and execute the offense. I mean, it's the same offense going out there. It's the same person calling the plays, that we got to fix. And one thing we addressed with our defense, we're much improved on defense. We're doing good things on defense. We love our attitude. Will Clark played the best he's ever played on Saturday. Darwin Cook and Carl Joseph had more licks on their receivers than those guys cared to elaborate on. But when we're getting turnovers, we're not setting up scores. It's on the other side right there, but one of our goals on defense is to set up a couple of scores. And right now we're not setting up scores. One reason is because offense can't score, but we're not setting them up. We're getting them in the wrong spots at the wrong time. So defensively, if we want to go from being good to great, because right now we're just good. If we go from good to great, well, we got to start making some critical plays in some critical situations and helping our offense set up scores. Or go score ourselves if that's what we need to do.
You mentioned after the game Saturday, you knew before the season the offense was going to have some struggles. Talking to Shaq, talking to Darwin after the game, they said it's a flip-flop from what it was last year where the defense is kind of holding up the offense. Did you expect that before the season? Expect the defense to be tasked with that, holding up the offense really?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be that way a little bit. We knew it was going to be a role reversal. You know, and last year I sat here, I've defended the defense a lot. You know, and we win as a team, we play as a team, and you know unfortunately we lose as a team as well. You know, and last year went through a hard time there for a couple of games, and you know, offense didn't hold up their end of the bargain, but you know, I never sold out the defense. You know, and I'm not going to sell out the offense now. I mean, if we want to win, then defense has got to set us up some scores or make some plays. I mean, that's just the situation that we're in until this offense comes along, which we're going to eventually. You know, obviously my challenge is to make it happen quicker, and my challenge right now is to make it happen this week.
Dana, you were critical of the offensive line after the game. If you don't have personnel that you can insert to fix things, how do you start to cure that problem?
We got to put them in some better situations. You know, there's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, that was my initial reaction. I wish I wouldn't have said that, because there's enough blame to go around. You know, and obviously the key component to that is figuring out what I'm doing wrong. You know, but you know, just put them in situations. You know, maybe we're putting them in situations that we're not practicing hard enough, or we're not calling the specific plays that need to be called to attack the specific fronts, or run the ball when we need to throw the ball, or throw the ball when we need to run the ball. You know, I'm just asking those guys to get a little bit better. If they get a little bit better, and our quarterback gets a little bit better, and I get a lot better, then we'll get better as an offense.
Dana, you've talked a couple of times in the last 2 days about being able to relax and play looser than what you have.
Do I look uptight right now?
Yeah, a little bit. How difficult is it to do that when things suck? You know?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It is. But, you know, we sit there and I've watched that film probably 8 times, you know, since I got back Saturday night. And, you know, there's some things that resemble football. I know this is hard to believe. I guarantee, trust me, I know it. It's hard to believe, but there's things that resemble football. And our guys are trying. I mean, we have quality running backs. We have experience on the O-line. We have receivers that can run and catch. I thought about changing their name on the depth chart to blockers, because that's what we're asking them to do so much. But we have guys that can do it. They're trying. If we can get just a little bit better, and then we can gain some confidence, then maybe at a steamroll, and we can start scoring some points and winning some games. Got to believe it's going to happen. If you don't believe it's going to happen, it's not going to happen.
Talk about fielding punts. Comfortable with Carswell back there? Are you guys going to make any changes? What other options do you guys have from your perspective?
Well, we've had 3 guys back there. You know, I'm comfortable with Ronnie back there. I mean, you know, he's the one that has the most confidence. And there's no excuse. Their guy dropped 2. I mean, the wind was swirling. It was wet. He made a poor decision. He's inexperienced. He's got to get better at it. I like his confidence, and I think he's got the mental makeup to where he'll be able to get better at it. Nobody was more hurt than him when that happened. You can't just keep playing musical chairs. I mean, you guys have asked me this at quarterback a bunch. The same thing at punt returner. You gotta believe in some kids, and I do believe in them. They're trying hard. I'm going to believe in them a little bit more, and we're going to go out and we're going to practice, and we're going to get better.
Kwiatkowski came out of that last game. Injury update with him.
Yeah, you know, we're relatively in good shape injury-wise. You know, Dustin had a hamstring before the game. He was fine on Thursday, and then I don't know, he did something. But so he has a little bit of a hamstring. Nick has a little bit of a hamstring as well. Those guys, you know how hamstrings are. It takes some guys a week, some guys a year. So hopefully they'll be ready to go this week. But other than that, it's the same as it was last week.
pretty deep the first game, and then I don't know if it was game plan or defense or whatever the second. Were you happy with his decisions there? Was it part of the game plan, or did he maybe need to go a little more vertical?
You know, he didn't have much of an opportunity. You know, because Maryland did a good job. Okay, they were much more basic than they were the previous game against us and what they'd shown on tape, because they were able to give their corners some support. You know, and I'm telling you, Maryland's Coach Stewart did a great job. Randy Etz was a good football coach, and defensively they have some good players. They have good players, and they did a very good job. We got down, and then they dropped a lot of people, and we weren't comfortable with just saying we can get 3 yards here in the run game or 4 here. You know, so we didn't have so we had to throw the ball down the field. We had to attempt to throw the ball down the field, and then the protection broke down a few times. It wasn't any good. He needs to do a better job of being his sense of urgency in the pocket needs to improve. And if he can work around some guys and not give them an opportunity to throw the ball down the field.
Is it safe to say that your defense faces something this week that you're going to have to get used to probably for the rest of the year? You've not faced tempo yet.
Yeah, Oklahoma did. Oklahoma did some. They'll play faster than Oklahoma. Last year, Oklahoma played faster than anybody, but right now, Oklahoma State's trying to play faster than Oregon, is what I hear. You know, but yeah, we're gonna have to defend it. Yes, and if you think this is gonna be fast, the next week at Baylor is gonna even be faster. So we'll go against each other and practice some this week, probably more than we have. And I need to get it to terms with it and get myself going and force ourselves to play faster. I have to force ourselves to play faster, regardless if it's not looking good or not. I have to force ourselves to play faster, get into a rhythm, and it will help our defense as well.